la. You can use that later. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of Downunder The Ring podcast. I am the Warship, and today I have but one question for you guys. So, Substitute Betson and Phid, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, so many things.
Yeah. Anything specific?
Yeah.
What did you do this week?
I spent my entire weekend doing something, and I don't know. It feels like something worth chatting about. Hey,
anything newsworthy?
Oh wait, no, I've got it. Stephanie McMahon returns to the WWE. Yeah. How good was that? Yes. Yes.
In saying that, probably the biggest surprise for me out of the entire weekend was Steph.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I popped pretty hard, which came out.
And finally,
it was just unexpected as hell.
Does that mean that a McMahon is employed by WWE again? Who knows?
Apparently so. So.
There you go.
Are we just jumping straight into it then?
Yeah, we're jumping straight into it. Right? Tripp said in the post-show scrum, which interesting to see the post-show scrum back as well. But he said she's back in the company.
Cool. So, we have a McMahon back.
For me, what I find most impressive, because when she bounced, she was like, "I want nothing to do with my dad and all that shit." Right? I'm out. See ya. Once again, with the thing that was most, I think was more put over than half the wrestlers, was that it's the new era. It's the Triple H era. And I think having her back and walking out is like, okay, this is indicative of this is different.
Yeah,
100%. It was having a McMahon say this was the Paul Levesque era was important, I think. But like I said, I'm still very surprised. I said on a previous podcast I didn't think she'd come back because of the optics of having a McMahon back in the company.
But notice when they did the Hall of Fame, Heyman never said a surname.
This is true.
That's very true.
Maybe she's going to become. Is she going forward going to change her name to Stephanie Levesque?
But they did acknowledge her name at Mania, though.
Yeah, Stephanie Helmsley.
Ooh.
Yeah. Interesting. And look, at the end of the day, it's just wild, right? Like it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy time. But my God, WrestleMania, honestly, gotta be somewhere in that top 5. Gotta be for how good it was. 100%.
It's getting closer to the top for me over the last 24 hours. Like someone asked me, what did you think? Rank it amongst your favorites. And I was like, top 5. That was 24 hours ago. And the more I'm thinking about it, the closer it's getting to the top. Like, I think at the moment, if I was going to rank 1 and 2, it's 17, 2. And
wow.
40, sorry.
Yeah, wow. It's crazy.
And I think it's just because it was such a well-paced, well-written, amazing ending. There was threads that went right through the entire show. And do you know what? One of the big things for me, the biggest complaint around WWE programming amongst fans is how much wrestling versus backstage bullshit and promos happens on Raw and SmackDown. There was minimal backstage stuff during this Mania. I would say anything that wasn't pro wrestling action during this Mania was advertising or promo material or match build videos, right? Everything else was just in-ring action.
We had a little bit of Snoop Dogg, but that was really it. Like a little bit of classic Snoop. But from start to finish, I don't know. There are points where I'm fully on board with you there. There were things we got so desperately wrong in our predictions. But the one that gets me and just takes it off that notch a little bit is I was super, super disappointed with the Jimmy versus Jay match. Like super. For them, disappointed for them.
I don't think it was a bad match. I just think it was missing some grit or some spice or something. I overheard somebody say the other day that there was yesterday when I was listening to a couple of other post-show shows, and the commentary on them, and it was actually from their viewers, was there was no shit talking throughout the entire match.
Yeah.
Like they weren't going at each other.
Honestly, there was so many super kicks I couldn't tell you where they would have fitted in place. Like that's all they did. The whole match was kick each other in the head.
The Young Bucks in there, and it would have been the same match.
Yeah, treating a super kick like a chop was an interesting decision, but and I think for me, my issue with that match specifically, I'm sure we'll go through it like match by match and talk over all that sort of stuff. But my key issue is that we had no Rikishi, which I would have really loved. And I think I personally was hoping for more in the vein of the Cody Dustin match from the first Double or Nothing. Yeah, like I think that's what I wanted as a resolution of that storyline. But yeah, that's just me throwing out something that wasn't going to happen. So that's just
there was zero resolution from that match. Either.
Absolutely,
no. It was just the end of a match. It wasn't the end of a saga. It wasn't anything. They obviously did more on the next night. Which we'll get into later. But I think the difference and the issue for me is night one, aside from the dethroning of the Ring General, there wasn't really a moment that we didn't see coming. There was not really a surprise or something super impactful that sort of took that show. Because I think if you had thrown like Rikishi as an example in there on night one, that's probably enough. It would have been enough to give that little bit of that nostalgia hit, but also that surprise to it that WrestleMania kind of feels like it should have. We always complain every single year that the Royal Rumble was great, but fuck, where was John Cena? But, where was the special surprise guest? Where was that, nostalgia hit where they come in and they get eliminated? We get those at WrestleMania, typically speaking. We get celebrities. These days, Snoop, I guess, but Snoop's like a fixture now.
He's become part of the show.
It's not really a celebrity involvement anymore like it used to be. So in place of that, we've seen a turn to have like more big moments. But this night one particularly, everyone knew that The Rock, well, at least I think most of us knew that The Rock would be the one to get the pin on Cody, leading into night two's Bloodline Rules. I would
agree with you in terms of the subsect that we exist within. In terms of like us as wrestling fans and enthusiasts, and commentators, whatever the hell we want to sit, right? Yep. Like we are so deep into wrestling on a different level that we are looking at those story beats and where it's heading. The average person may have just thought, well, Cody, it's his thing; he has to win it, right? Because like they wouldn't hit those story beats otherwise. It's an understanding that we sit within a very niche part of that space, whether it be from you watching, working behind the scenes in like the marketing side, Shippy yourself being a wrestler and understanding storytelling, and we look at it differently.
Yeah,
absolutely. But see, as a fan, this is how I felt about night one, and I think when I say as a fan, definitely more as a smark of someone that knows a bit of the behind the scenes as well. But it felt to me like both days, 1 and 2, were booked as one show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Where the first half of it was good. It was good. Like, there's no way I would say that night one was a bad show.
No.
It felt like a good show that was setting up for night 2.
Well,
half of the show. The entire thing felt like it was entirely a crescendo going up. We got to the end, and then the next day continued to go up.
Well, that's the thing. So we discussed this in the last show. Around this is kind of like their Avengers, and in the same way that Infinity War ended on a crescendo that allowed you to then go and Endgame just fucking ruled for X amount of time.
And that was exactly what it did.
You had a couple of core matches though.
Well,
like
of course,
for the first night, obviously you had Rhea. And that was awesome with Becky. You had your Sami Zayn.
That was a banger of a match.
Oh, absolutely excellent. And look, I'm happy to be right/wrong because I didn't think that she was going to win. So it was a good feeling. It was satisfying to see it all go down the way it did. I think that big one, man, I almost feel like it could have been the main, aside from if The Rock wasn't having his first match back in 100 years, you could have put Gunther versus Zayn in the main event. Like, because that was just completely unexpected. Using the brain buster with 3 A's, because that's how you have to spell it. It's really weird. It's really weird that Sami Zayn would steal El Generico's old finisher like that, considering he doesn't know, doesn't really have any connection to him on a personal level.
It makes sense. It's a throwback to, there was a match, in 2014, I think, where El Generico and Gunther, or Walter as he was back then, it's just good throwback.
I think they've done it in respect for El Generico, because, I mean, according to Kevin Owens, we lost El Generico in that fire. So
we did. The orphanage burnt down.
It's showing respect to El Generico.
Yeah, but no, excellent. I thought it was really, really good. Absolutely. Following up with the haluva kick to the back of their head was really cool as well. That was just
we are absolutely just going in 1,000 at once.
There are so many things to talk about.
Of us have ADHD.
Yeah. We might all have at this point. But let's roll it back and reel it in a little bit. We can figure it out. So WrestleMania 40, night 1. What did you think?
With the new Then Now Forever.
Yes, it does.
The new signature was actually quite cool.
That rules.
Yeah.
Just having him speak over it as well. Good old Paul having a bit of his moment there, and really establishing that the era is really because of his work here.
And very unusual of Triple H to put himself over like that.
Oh, he hates that. Every conversation you ever have, outside of winning the WWF Championship, I'm pretty sure he's always hated putting himself over. So, you saw it even at the end of night 2. He had that conversation. It's like every time anyone's called him out recently,
all of us,
he's like, whoever it is, I think today on Raw, no, sorry, it was at Mania, Cody was like, I know he's not going to like this, but Triple H, get out here. So I'm sure he just hates being part of the show now.
He looked like he was ready. He looked like he was ready.
He had the strut. He was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do the strut, though. It's too much like Vince's.
No, he's taken the strut. He's appropriated the strut.
Yeah, it's his now.
This is new
We still
strut.
keep doing it. We're still going back and forth. What happened on the first show? Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley could have absolutely have been the main event of this show, and I think it was actually designed to be the main event. I think before Punk and everything, I think this was going to be the main event. And look, it was an amazing, like you've said it before, is the second main event is the opener. It's what sets the tone for the rest of the show, and they did a brilliant job of it. Literally my only thing that I hated about this match was, while I loved Becky doing the whole thing, promoting her book and telling bits of the story, blah, 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 blah. God, I hated that they put that little doorway between her graphic and she walked out. It took this awesome intro into just this real bit of cheese. Everything about the match, though, I loved. They told a great story. It was just a great pro wrestling match.
And look, to go back to what you were saying.
We're calling it pro wrestling going forward.
It is. It's pro wrestling now. It's no longer sports entertainment, although Cody already said it once today on Raw. But just to quickly go back before we head forward there with yours there, Ryan, was I was thinking about it and I was saying the reason I didn't say of the matches that could have been the main, and I said Sammy and Gunther, was because I actually think that this match, Rhea and Becky, was the perfect way to start the event off and set the tone for the whole night. I think it deserves to be in the opening main event spot. Sorry, you had a point there. Ryan.
Yeah, so what I was going to mention was, in terms of the opener that was Becky, it was good. It felt like book tour, but that was cool. We're having Motionless in White play for
it was dope.
Rhea was awesome. The singer looked like Rhea from about 2 years ago, so that was fun. And then them having that moment together, and just as she walks down and she's singing and she's feeling it, and just continuing to just give off the aura that is Rhea Ripley.
Apologies to any metal fans out there. I had no idea that they were a real band, and had always assumed that they were just. It was just a good WWE production song.
Oh, wow.
Which is rare these days, so I should have really known.
Yeah, no, it's similar to Alter Bridge being used. It's just another band,
Oh, speaking of this, I'm jumping really again. Cool. So I'm going to jump away again and say I'm really upset that Downstate's new version of Kingdom wasn't used on night 2 of WrestleMania.
I love Downstate's new version.
Yeah,
I do too.
Stay on track, Manuel. Focus. Manuel, focus.
Oh, okay, it's back.
Yeah, so like in terms of the match itself, I thought it was really solid. It was Becky and Rippers. In my head, had they wrestled before? Like once before, I think maybe.
NXT, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
They were
felt like it
talking
had
about
a
that.
Important years.
yeah, like it felt like it had a good pace to it. Rippers just continuing to look incredible, and this was just another step in her what will be a long ass reign. Maybe not a Roman reign.
Rain.
Yeah, she's not done yet. I don't know what's next for her because once again, all the horsewomen are done. You know, there's no one like the only people I can think that aren't is maybe Bianca comes back or Jade Cargill. But like the match was dope. The rip tied into the buckle and then a second that was pretty tight.
Here's one to answer your question. You were saying, who's the one to dethrone her?
Hmm.
Do you have her hold on to that title for a wee while and have it be an NXT call-up next Mania when eventually they bring up Julia?
Ooh.
Yeah, because we've heard about
could be
that as
something.
well. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Liv. Like, I think that what they're doing at the moment, this is a big story, and she's held the belt for so long, and this is a big revenge arc. It's like, if enough people, because like, honestly, unless you really go back and watch, you don't see how behind Liv Morgan the crowd are. But they, when they're pushing Liv correctly, they are obsessed with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is a change her finisher right now because it sucks willies and it never works. But other than that, I think that's viable.
I don't get it. I don't get Liv Morgan. I don't get the apart from her being an attractive woman, I don't get it.
That's sort of why I think.
Well, then that's bullshit. Then that's not enough. I'm sorry, it's not enough.
Look, I agree.
Because she bet Ronda Rousey, who, like in terms of, yes, whatever you want to say about her, for within the world of WWE, she was a monster. She bet Ronda Rousey, and everyone went, yeah! And then went, what the fuck do you do now? She can't wrestle all that well. She can. She can wrestle way better than I ever could in my entire fucking life. But, like, it's an understanding of, like, well, what is it? Congratulations, you're hot. Now what?
Yeah,
Phid. Please,
yes.
You speak.
Yeah, look, not a Liv fan myself either. Honestly,
I think it's going to happen, and I don't like that it's going to happen, but I think that that's sort of, it was such a strong thing today, which we'll get into much, much, much later. But
okay, that's pretty cool.
The story has been brewing in the background, and Triple H has been talking about it constantly. It's about long-term investment. Like, they don't sit here for short-term investment. They're not going for instant gratification. They're going to be able to bring up the injury. They're going to be able to bring up all of that prior history, and that's going to be the defining factor in it, I think. But we're not here to speculate on what's next for Rhea Ripley. I don't think, are we?
Well,
Is
we
that
should
what
be
we're here
talking
for?
about it.
No, I'm getting word that it's not what we're here for.
No,
Okay.
the next thing we should be talking about is the next match.
Are we going to break down every match?
Might as well.
Let's just talk about the stuff we like.
Oh, okay. That pretty much hits all of it because the paper was
It's
awesome.
true. It's true.
Oh, look, if we break down every match, we're going to be here all night, and I've got a card out before 8 o'clock. So.
Yeah, fine.
Let's do some quick.
Rip through the card and then we'll comment if we care.
Let's do some quick fiery gimmicks here because I don't really need to talk about the LWO match whatsoever.
No.
I don't really need to talk about that. I actually don't even really need to talk about the Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi match either because that was just a SmackDown squash match in my eyes.
Look, it was that match was really good for putting Jade over. What an amazing debut.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's kind of all I need to say about it personally because I just don't think there was any other substance.
The tag title match?
Tag title match,
Okay.
we were so wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I was half right. On that one.
I think I said Awesome Truth and DIY, so I was a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Awesome Truth, I think, was always going to happen, and I'm so stoked that Truth has finally got his win. Love the tag spot that he did. Love the that he finally got to do the 5 moves of doom in a pay-per-view. And he was so over.
Oh, yeah.
The other one that I will say about this one is was this the most convincing and realistic ladder win for A-Town Down Under? Like, it was the fastest I've seen anybody go up, zero hesitation, take it down.
Yeah.
Like, there was none of this pro wrestling time of...
But the challenge of that is, though, it kind of made you go, oh, shit, they won. And then, oh, fuck, there's more belts. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know, sorry, I've just got a phone call coming through.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and that's the only catch is because, you know, unlike Awesome Truth, which got to have their moment, they're like, oh, shit, okay, and then they just get yeeted and then they have to keep going. So they don't really get a Mania moment for their win. And I hope that plays into something later. But it felt like there was a lot of bodies, but it didn't feel like a big fuck-off ladder match that it could have been. Still good, still enjoyed it.
It wasn't the car crash I was expecting, to be honest.
No, I was really looking for a schmoz there, and I didn't think we didn't get one. And that's okay, because we didn't actually need a schmoz, but I kind of thought there'd be more bodies bruised. How do you learn to fall off a 50-foot ladder? Necks broken, careers ended in an instant. That whole thing.
Because, like, when I think of ladder matches, I think of, like, there was that really dope Lucha Brothers one in AEW. And then there was, like, NXT with, like, the Undisputed Era. Like, there, when I think ladder match, I'm like, ooh, yes. And this was not that. But it was still good, though. No. I enjoyed it.
It was showing that it didn't need to be that, though, either. You don't need to be a dickhead with half skull makeup jumping off a ladder through a glass pane for no reason.
Well, I love that shit.
Yeah, but that was dumb, though. That was dumb.
Yeah, but the match did exactly what it set out to do. It was split those titles in a reasonably logical way.
Yeah, and this is the thing I will say about, like, any of the matches that were not a standout match, like, for us. I think all of those matches did what they had to do. They were just a really good, entertaining match.
No,
they weren't shit matches.
No, there was still
of,
purpose
like, everything's really good.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. No, I would agree with all of that as well. All right, we'll keep going with that. Let's go to the Usos. Again, we spoke about that. It was really kind of disappointing to me. Not particularly keen on the way that it went down. I thought there were a couple of shining moments where he's like, I'm your twin brother, man. You know, but it was like, but why did you say that? There was no escalation from that. It was like you were having a conversation that we weren't privy to the rest of it. Which just felt kind of weird to me. The finish was cursory. It could have been on SmackDown, the same as the other match that I've just mentioned. So, but let's get to the real meat of it. Because Sami Zayn, after 666 days, has dethroned Gunther, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, very surprised that that's how that one went. Like, we did say, you know, we didn't know where the surprise finish was going to be in this entire card. And look, this is where it was. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think he's going to be a long reigning champ either. I think.
Because, like, we were talking about this last week as well, because it's like the Rocky story, right? That's what they were setting up. Rocky won, he loses. So it's like, it's kind of bizarre. But I liked it. It was a good moment.
Also, if we were doing Rocky 1 realistically, then Chad Gable had to die.
Yeah. He kind of did.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, shit. But, yeah, look, for me, it was not what I predicted. I predicted that, you know, at least if it were me, I would have tried to find a way to make Gunther undefeated as an Intercontinental Champion so we can get into the main. But I think the impact of that, it's very similar to, I think we talked about the other, like with Brock in that, was it Rumble 2020, where, like, he was just demolishing everyone. So the first person to take him out looks fucking incredible. And it's the same thing here. Sammy looks fucking insane because of this.
Yeah.
And that moment with KO and the gorilla.
Yeah.
You mentioned about Rocky, by the way. It did remind me about one other note from the ladder match that we didn't bring up. Is it was also the debut of TNA wrestler Consequences Creed.
It was Consequences Creed. That was so funny to see. Obviously paying homage there, you know, being in Philadelphia and everything like that as well. That was a very, very cool moment. But yeah, this match, there was nothing about it I didn't really like. I thought it was good the whole way through. The only part that kind of started to lose me was I don't like Gunther's splash. I never have, because he lands on his feet first and then he collapses into the splash. It just comes from being a big guy for so long, then losing all the weight, I think. But outside of that, excellent. Definitely good to see. A good moment, a good feel-good moment, despite not really expecting it.
But
I was going to say, in that stage of the card, we needed to get a feel-good moment in because
we were just dragged down twice. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But what was fun for me is that watching Mania with my partner, like it's relatively new to her, so she genuinely shat herself with that, buckle buster. Like that was for a brain. Like the buckle brain buster, not the buckle buster, is something different. But she fucking died, and I died for a second too. And then I went, oh, yes. Once I clicked what it was, I was like, oh, brilliant.
Well, I said it on Twitter. I think I'm like, that's one band move down.
Yes,
we need to see the other one, and we didn't.
Is KO tomorrow Is he going to just yeet Logan into the pole? But no.
I would have loved to have seen a Steenializer or a package power driver, but we were never going to get that. So, it was cool. It was cool to see. But let's move on to what else was cool to see. And I've got to preface all of this by saying that in my wildest dreams, I would not have said that The Rock would have looked as good in the ring and moved like he had not lost a single fucking day in my life before the match. But he looked like he was the exact same guy when he left the first time.
I was just about to say, is this the best we've seen from Rocky since he left? Not Cena Rock, because we all know how that ended. No. Like, this was the best since we've seen him leave as a full-time star.
Yeah, absolutely, emphatically. It was the Rock show all over, taking the rock bottom through the announce table from Cody. He moved like a champion. His punches are crisp. His movement is crisp. Everything that led to that point at the end of the match was really, really well done. It was a foregone conclusion for me. The second the match started, we knew what was going to happen, but that didn't matter. The story that was told over the course of the night was excellent. This was a great, great match, despite it now being the second longest match in WrestleMania history, second only to the Iron Man match.
Was it like 43 minutes or something?
Minute match. Yeah. So
it was a long match, but like it was one of those ones that it didn't feel as long as it was. Like it felt like a long match, but it wasn't until the show was over I looked at the time and I was like, Jesus, that went way longer than I thought it was going to.
Night one, the pacing felt weird because there were those dips, where night two was just consistent the whole way through. But I said that the match was 45 minutes. If you would have asked me, I wouldn't have said it was 45 minutes.
No, it went like that at the same time. And it was because, honestly, for me at least, I was in awe of watching like The Rock be The Rock again, because we've seen him come back into these bullshit spots where he beats up someone, is a little bit racist, but not really because America, and then leaves again. Like we've seen that time and time again forever. But this felt like a genuine return, and it was really, really cool to see the People's Elbow. It was really, really cool to see the Rock Bottom. The whole thing was just good. He hit a couple of things that he hasn't hit in years. It was really comfortable. There was no dissension, which I really liked, because I did not want to tell the story of The Rock and Roman Reigns aren't on the same page. I really didn't want them to do that bullshit where we were like, oh, they're just setting up for WrestleMania 41. And there was none of that all weekend. Even in the main of night two, Roman actually pushed Rock out of the way to save him at the very last thing that happened. We'll get to that.
I've got so many comments on that match.
The only thing that I wish they did, just because it would have been entertaining for me, was when, during the count out, so when they spill out of the ring, The Rock yells at the ref. It's like, don't you fucking count. You count, you're fired.
I actually loved that.
Me too. But I was hoping it got to a point where like Rock or Roman's getting pinned and the ref goes, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, that would have added a whole other level of fucking that I would have really got a kick out of.
Yeah, I can't, because if I count them out, I'm going to get fired. If The Rock loses,
I'm not to count, period.
Yeah.
I did love it, like the blurring of the lines between reality and that's where wrestling is at its best, right? Is when it's in that sweet spot of it could be real, you know. It was definitely there, like playing into the TKO management side of things and all of that. It was beautiful.
And it also it's like the that's all right. It's one of those things that happens in indie shows as well, right? Like, and you know they get out and they're like, well, they've been outside for like 3 minutes. Like,
So what's happening?
Ref discretion, but like having to not explain ref discretion if you just go like, hey, this is it, and it fits within the match, it fits within the story, way better.
It's even to the point of like, just he's adding fuck into the lexicon of everywhere because he's swearing so much. He's like, if you count, you're fucking fired. And then on Raw today, he's like, fucking again. Like he's just dropping that shit everywhere. But it adds to the seriousness of the situation from his point of view. And like, yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe a moment where maybe they hit like crossroads and then a stomp straight after it. Seth goes to the pin and the referee is just like, what do I do? And that distraction, even if he's still counted, but that couple of seconds of like the referee being freaked out about it and then going
like,
for
even
it.
If Roman was to eat the crossroads and then the stomp, and The Rock in the distance like, oi, and he's like, oh yeah, shit, sorry, you know, that would have.
Because there's 1, 2, hey,
don't,
he looks at him.
Yeah,
I will fucking fire you, and then it's it. But like, it was cool. I like that because we never get that explanation in Indy, even to the point of like, okay, a tag, both of them are in the ring for 50 seconds, and then they leave. Like that's a 5 count. That's supposed to be a 5 count. So it was good to see, and it's something that. This is the same thing I saw about last week. This is I looked at the Titantron and I saw the bad guy behind me. Like, it's the same vibe. So I'm all for that.
Playing some reality and how the world actually works.
Yeah, because like in my commentary stuff, like I do run out of excuses as to why people are allowed outside of the ring for 1,000 minutes and why, you know, it's like, so like having it to see it go, oh, cool. All right, sweet. I have a new way of getting around it now. Sweet.
Now I can explain it a little bit better. All right. So it was great. It was great. Like night one, for me, night one's probably a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the best. I'm probably putting it about 6. Personally,
I'd give it like a bit higher. Like I enjoyed it, but I think, and I know with the end of this, I'll sort of talk about my whole WrestleMania experience. But yeah, like I think watching with people and enjoying a particular way, like did give a bit of a bump for me, and that's totally subjective. But yeah, to me, it's like a 7, 5, 8. I thought it was great. What you, Phid?
Well, look, this is the first Mania I've sat and watched on my own. Like nobody with me. I watched the entire thing solo. So
Prick barely even responded to my texts.
If we were at a bar again this year in Sydney, easily a 9, because that was fucking fun.
And that's what I mean, right? So I'm literally only going off what I'm seeing. There's no vibes around me or anything like that. So I'm probably a bit higher. I think I'm probably around about a 7 because I'm looking at it as one show. Still.
Yeah, no, that's fair, because that's what they intended, even though I really do think that we're probably split it into 2. But speaking of 2s, let's talk about night 2. Because night 2 opened with Drew and Seth, and by God, it started with a Claymore. That was the start of the match.
Night 2 fucking ruled. And it set the pace. The second of ding, ding, Claymore. I'm like, okay, we know what we're in for tonight, and it's going to be dope.
That was absolutely a throwback to Sheamus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that felt like the opening match, Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus,
straight to the bro kick,
World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
And I felt like a throwback, and I thought they were going to do it. I was like, that's what they should have done, in my opinion. It would have been dope.
Yeah.
Before
it happened later.
I did shit myself thinking that we were going to have like immediate squash. Sorry to cut you off, Shippy.
No, you're right. I think that the whole match to me presented like a mercy killing because Seth was fucked after night 1, and Drew knew it too, and he told him too. He said, "Look, you're gonna do this, pal. You're gonna be fucked for tomorrow." Like he knew it the whole time, and so did Seth.
And this entire match, like you can't look at it as just what happened on night 2.
No.
You have to look at this match as
the whole
what
story
has happened over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? And the story that was told in this entire 3 months, right up until this match, has been so good, right? Especially the fact that it's a thread of those biggest stories.
Yeah,
And it's
Bored at Work
stories
lol
happening
is
at the
my
same time.
favorite tweet of all time, pretty much. Like,
But shouldn't the best part of this match, Shippy, be you were correct?
I was so almost right. I was so close to. I don't think he's hurt, and I still don't, because man, he moving good. I think maybe he's got a bit of a twinge to go still, because that's why it didn't become a 3-way or whatever. But man, the match, I want to talk about the match itself, because the match itself was excellent. It was a really good story of a wounded dog trying to scrape its way to safety after being hit by a car. Like, that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was just every time he got up, every time he mounted some offense, because he hit the stomp really early as well, and it didn't really stop Drew at all. It just it wasn't enough. And that was the whole night, the whole progression of this thing about being Cody's shield. It culminated later in the night, but this was the price Seth paid for all of his misdoings since the Shield breakup. This was his penance this night. And this match was that penance, because he said, all right, fuck it. I know doing this on night 2, night 1 to lead into night 2, I'm probably losing the title. And I have to do that because I did a bad thing. I'm paying for that even now. And he still stood and he fought, and Drew fucking fucked him up. And it took a lot, but it was over. And new champion, Drew McIntyre. And it was excellent. Excellent. It was such a moment in front of all the fans, 72,000 people watching Drew cry, go and hug his family, text about it, send tweets. And then he gets in Punk's face. He couldn't leave it alone. He couldn't just walk away. It was exactly what it was. He was like, oh, look, I just made event of WrestleMania and you didn't. Fuck you. And then Damian Priest. And it was like such a thing.
The meme was real.
It was such a real thing. And then the second that happens, Punk just sweeps the leg, laughs at him, and that's all over. We have a new champion in the Judgment Day's Damian Priest, what the internet is calling bondage or bisexual Undertaker. And holy shit, none of us called this. We all said it wasn't going to happen. We were pitching him to beat Gunther, but he did it.
Well, this is the other thing. I actually said, I tweeted on the night, I thought it was dumb that we didn't even see him during that main event on night 1, because literally you've got the 2 biggest titles. Both those title holders are fucked by the end of the match. That's where he should have at least been by a TV screen, right?
Yeah.
They had no explanation as to why. Like, maybe he should have got fucked up in the tag match and had that as some explanation.
Yeah.
There was just no explanation whatsoever. I think that was the only thread that they didn't tie up nicely. But in saying that, I think him waiting until Mania and picking his time still it paid off. Right? It was awesome.
We go with that. Like, the only other person to cash in on Mania like this is Seth, right? So it's kind of fun to happen in that moment on the back end. Yeah, on the back end of his match. And in the idea of this new era, we don't need to see someone looking at a screen awkwardly to go, they have a briefcase. Like, this rewarded you for paying attention. Because the second you hear that music, you go, oh shit. Like, you forgot about it. And then you get that beautiful moment of, what the fuck?
So do you know what I did love about it is the fact that Punk was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, even Punk himself was like, oh shit.
But then that realization of, oh, I know what this means. I'm going to get out of the way, have fun. And like, that briefcase nearly ends up in the 5th row. And then that South of Heaven fucking nearly killed Drew.
That has to be the fastest I've seen a ref go, okay, we'll do this.
Yeah, they didn't question none of that. Are you sure? Are you sure? They're like, all right, go.
Shit, it's WrestleMania. Let's go. That South of Heaven did nearly kill Drew, though. It was ridiculous.
Dope.
Drew can post for a choke slam. We know that, because that was ridiculous height. And hey, it's going to be interesting to see how we go from here. I don't want it to feel like it's a downgrade for Damian Priest to be the champion. No. Time will tell on that right now.
That's the thing is, I think we need to give him they need to give him a decent run with it as well. Like we can't hot potato this belt.
We can't Jack Swagger him right now.
No, but the thing is, right, Seth has done an amazing job of building this title from the initial run, giving it a nice, decent, long run for a new title. But I think it was time for a new champ.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was Damien, but awesome.
Yeah.
But we can't hot potato it. We need him to hold it for at least a few months.
Well, the challenge that we have is we got Bash in Berlin and then Clash at the Castle in Scotland, right? So the assumption would be that the belt would go to Drew at Clash of the Castle. However, what we've seen recently, like we look at Elimination Chamber 2023, where Sammy versus Roman, like it's the best place for Sammy to win.
Yeah.
But if we go to Clash of the Castle in Scotland, and this is the best place for Drew to win. But if we let that hubris present itself again and it costs him the win in his home, that would be beautiful. Would make sense to go over there, but yeah, and I at least for me, this match was attrition, right? There was no big fuck off, new moves. There wasn't using someone else's finisher. It was just, I'm gonna stomp you until you're fucking down. I'm gonna claymore you until you're dead, and that's what we got. The
thing I love about the most about this is just adding more justification to the justified arsehole that is Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is at any point it can spin and go, but you're the asshole. You're at fault.
Yeah.
Which allows for a great face turn at some point.
Oh, exactly. But this is what I said to you, Shippy, is this loss empowers him.
Yeah. It really does. But
and
that being said,
against Seth, it empowers him against Damien, it empowers him against Punk. We could go in so many different directions with this.
But what if Punk beats him what if it beats him in his hometown? What if he beats him there?
Delicious.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And speaking of ridiculous, how nice was it to see Bubba Dudley?
Oh. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. By the way, second signed TNA star to appear on a WWE pay-per-view in under 4 months.
Something's happening there.
Well,
I saw a thing
have
today.
Thoughts on that? And I think we'll talk when we do our full wrap up. I have some thoughts around a couple of different greater thoughts that I'd love for you guys to sort of see where you sit. But yeah, Bubba Ray, fucking sick. And then obviously Snoop on comms was one of the best things I've ever heard in my fucking life. For a match that I thought I would give zero shits about, I suddenly care about this match so much.
Do you know what I loved about Snoop's commentary is Snoop wasn't trying to be a commentator. He was just reacting like a fan.
And he had no idea what was going on.
Couch. No. The family reunion table fucking killed me.
Yeah. Well, because it's legit, looking at that and thinking about his style of commentary, it was like you're at Christmas and you're sitting down, you've got your new TV and you're watching wrestling and your uncle walks in, he's like, what are you doing? What are you watching? Comes and sits down next to you. And that's how Snoop reacted to everything that happened, the whole time. And it was excellent. The match itself, who gives a shit?
It did the job. It was fun. It was fun.
It was a super fun match. It wasn't a low point for me. It was just a fun match.
Yeah.
It did what it had to do, right? And that was what it was absolutely always going to be, was that match.
Yeah. No, look, no down stars here. And look, really, really briefly before we get to the next thing, because we'll have a second after we do that. But I did see a report today that said that one of Nick Khan's primary functions moving into this year is to strengthen bonds with other companies. So that TNA thing might be for a reason. But that notwithstanding, let's leave it on a cliffhanger and run the LA Knight moment of the week.
Let me talk to you.
Because LA Knight versus AJ Styles was a fucking banger of a match. I loved it.
It was awesome.
I was super, super happy with it. All the flowers got given. The finish came out of nowhere, which was a little bit bleh, but the rest of it, I was in, all the way in.
I'm shocked at how AJ is moving at that size. So I was genuinely looking at him, I'm like, okay, I don't think AJ can move the way AJ moves.
Yeah.
Just because he's a tank at the moment.
Yeah.
He sure
but
is.
He's still moving like AJ Styles.
Yeah. No, he really, really is. It was a great match.
That was an AJ Styles match.
As much as we love LA Knight, I think that we can all admit the fact that he's probably not the best in the ring. Like, he's good.
Yeah, gets the job done. He gets the job done. Look, he sells better than that woman that won a car and gave no shits.
She didn't care at all.
They gave her fucking nothing. Like, here's this lovely GTR. Yeah, it's covered in Slim Jims. Repaint it, and you got yourself some good money. And she's like, yeah.
Do you want to know something hilarious? Is my eldest son hasn't been a pro wrestling viewer since he was a kid. He watched Night 2. And the thing that he rang me up about was that GTR actually given away?
I was watching with my 7-year-old, and he had the same question. He's like, did that guy just get a car? And then he just like yelling, yeah, for about 10 minutes. So he just enjoyed that part.
Yeah. By the way, the thing about you watching with your kid, I was so jealous and envious of that because
I'll talk about that later, but it was awesome.
I miss having those moments with my kids.
Yeah. Look,
but yeah, no, I thought the match was great. I like LA Knight. I like AJ Styles. You know,
and look, it was like we said last week. It was what needed to happen with LA Knight. He needed to have this win. He needed it on the biggest stage of them all. Now give us some stories with some substance with the guy.
Yes,
please. It's
Don't
time
get me wrong.
to do something with him.
I loved this story because it's what got me. Because it's similarities to the Samoa Joe AJ Styles story of 2018 that got me into wrestling. It's the same level of bullshit. Which I was super stoked about this one. I thought it was great.
No, it was good. There was nothing about this that I didn't particularly like. Like I said, I feel like the finish was probably a little bit rushed, but aside from that, I liked it all. I'm very, very happy with it. And like, not quite as happy as Kevin Owens, like driving to the ring on his little buggy, because that was the best thing ever, particularly when he reversed and picked Randy Orton up. And Randy swore the whole way because he was going too fast.
It felt very Mean Girls of like, get in, bitch, we're going to punch Logan Paul. You know.
I love that they didn't do that shit part where they just start hating each other. They got to a bit where one did something and they were like, huh? And they looked at each other and they're like, you want to do it now? They're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it now. They just punch the shit out of each other.
Like, that works within Kevin Owens and Randy, I feel. They're like, all right, yeah, this is what we have to do, I suppose. You know, like they're used to like doing that turn on people. It was very, very fun.
Yeah, exactly right. I like it.
Can I just compliment once again watching it with my 7-year-old? My 7-year-old is a massive YouTube fan because he's a little ADHD boy, right? So he has no idea what was happening, but he gave all the shits in this match just because there was an unreasonable amount of prime.
Yeah.
Like, he's never drunk in his life because he's fucking 7, but he's like, this match is the best because there's prime everywhere. There's some guy in a suit, and then they get revealed. I'm like, who the fuck's that guy? He's like, that's Speed. I'm like, huh? And
I really think they should have told ISHO Speed not to swear, because he said fuck about 46 times to Randy before Randy
couldn't keep up. It was so good.
Dick in. Yeah.
He fucking Spartan kicked him so far.
Again, though, Logan Paul continues to impress. Like, that frog splash was the most actual frog splash I've ever seen. He looked like a real frog jumping in the air. Like the dude.
Like, his ability to like fold in on himself and then like absolutely stretch is ridiculous.
No, it was a good showing, and it was one of the only things we got right all weekend. So,
yeah,
one of the only things you got right, because I've called a few of these matches right.
Yeah.
I don't remember how it went.
Night 1, I counted 4. I got 4.5 matches right. Out of 7.
Yeah,
I think I was around there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll go back and listen. You can, people. Go back, listen, and keep us honest.
You can, because we're not going to. I don't have the patience to do that. I'm not going back. I already had to listen to it to edit it. I should have taken it down when we did that, but I didn't. But yeah, all in all, good match. Pretty much what it was supposed to be. I think it was expected. Logan Paul continues to move forward, which is excellent. It doesn't hurt KO. It doesn't hurt Orton at all. But one thing that we all got wrong was the next match. All of us got this one wrong, and that was Bayley winning.
Yeah. Did not see that coming at all. Like, knowing that the Kabuki Warriors, or, you know, and the remainder of Damage Control were going to take that L. There's no way that they were going to.
And they didn't even come down to the ring. They were at the entrance. They just left.
Correct.
Yeah, like, yeah, no, we're really fucking hurt. We're going to go back on that.
We got beat up by all these people yesterday. We all go sleep.
We're tired.
But no, look, it was great. It was cool to see a couple of custom entrances. I really liked.
Good match, though.
Said it on X as well. It was like a K-pop entrance for Io Sky.
Custom
like it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been playing so much 2K24. Shut up.
Don't get me wrong. I'm with you.
Yeah. Seeing Bailey come out as well, doing a little bit of the custom gimmick, it was really, really good.
My question around custom gimmicks, as you mentioned, is now I am what the scientific community would refer to as an idiot.
Yes.
Was there a reason for the Egyptian theme?
I don't know about the Egyptian theme, but I thought it was a throwback to the Triple H entrance.
Well, that's I did think that with the whole, like, you know, lifting
guys
up and
carrying her out.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. But the Egyptian point was lost on me.
Exactly.
I mean, she's Latino. She's not Egyptian at all. So.
There could be more to it that we just don't get, but I didn't quite get it either. All I know is that there was like 40% of the roster came out like they were from Destiny 2, and I was okay with that. Because Bailey was straight up just had a warlock cloak on the whole time, which was fine. The match itself was awesome. It was really, really good to see a return to form for Bailey in that big match feel, that big match vibe. EO did really, really well as well. But for me, this is why we have the 4 horsewomen. Like, that match was like a sign of that. You can go through Soccer Mum Bailey all you want and look at like where she was with damage control, but this is the Bailey that we all fell in love with from a wrestling point of view, and it was really, really good to see.
100%.
Also, that elbow drop to bring it home looked fucking gnarly. I loved it.
That was like a super finisher for a while, right? Like that was like I liked the idea of super finishers still existing in wrestling. Like that's why I liked the Generico Brainbuster. That's why I liked the elbow drop. I like when you're at WrestleMania and that one move you need to use is the one that wins, rather than it, just being a standard move and a standard finish and this, like thing like the rolling crossroads, for example. But yeah, awesome to see the end of it. I don't know what it means for damage control. I will assume that they will disband from here, or we'll have just a Kabuki Warriors run for a little bit here.
I assume this is Bailey versus Dakota, and like that's the next build.
That's exactly where I'm thinking it's going, because I think Dakota needs to break away on her own.
I think you just really want that. I think you just really love Dakota Kai so much. You really want that.
Look,
don't get me wrong. I understand Phid's appreciation of Dakota. I understand there's some heritage there. I feel that. I never understood it until like when she came out in her gear in night 1, and then I went, I think I'm in love with Dakota Kai. She's like the New Zealand Rhea Ripley in that gear. Mm-hmm. It's like
the thing that I was disappointed in. I was like, oh, she's wearing all black. I wonder if this is going to be a reference to the All Blacks. And I was like, oh, there's no silver fern anywhere.
Yeah, you were hanging out
because last year she did some. Yeah, last year was very Samoan heritage themed because she's a Samoan girlie. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be a Kiwi theme thing. I did pop though when they did the video package for this match. Mm-hmm. They had damage control all with their Ponamu necklaces, and I was like, oh, there you go. There's my New Zealand thing. I'll accept that as
well. And that's now we're down to the last thing, the thing that we have to talk about right now. Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that was the end of the show, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was it. Cody Rhodes came out and just said goodbye. Thank you for coming. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Bloodline rules for the undisputed WWE Universal title was the most ridiculous last 5 minutes of a wrestling show I've ever seen, a WrestleMania particularly, and probably one of my favorite actual WrestleMania matches, I think, ever. I think, looking back at it, looking at the beats of it, the pacing, the timing of it, there was no ridiculous, straight away. The only complaint, and it's a very small complaint that I have with the match, is that I think Roman ate 9 crossroads. And it was just by virtue of it having to happen to give moments for people to come out and interfere and whatnot. But I think it was a little bit overutilized. outside of that, I loved it. What did you guys think?
I agree and disagree on that, because if it was 9 consecutive crossroads, different. But the fact he ate it and then there was time, like recovery time, like it demonstrates that he takes it, but he was able to recoup. But then in the end, eating the 3 in a row and immediately getting that pin, he couldn't get out.
I loved when he used the crossroads and then did the whole. It's
this
a
move
shit
sucks.
move.
Yeah,
this move sucks.
That was great. That was excellent. When Roman hit the crossroads and it didn't get the 3 count, he's like, "Wow, this is a really shit move." Like that was beautiful. I liked it. There was very few beats.
What I did love about this match is that we did get a. Yeah, well, the thing with this match is we got a Cody and Roman match for the
like
first
30
half,
minutes,
right?
yeah.
And it was just a one-on-one solid match.
Which is what we were talking about.
Good, right? Yeah, and then second half kicks in, and I'll say, not as overbooked as I was expecting.
Oh, I was expecting fucking... like, my head was like walls of people facing off at each other, like every motherfucker in the roster ever having this, like, huge moment, and we didn't quite get that.
Like, yes, we got Endgame, but I was kind of expecting Civil War.
I wanted, like, hey, Cody on your left, and then it's like... Bah, 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 like, out comes fucking Dustin, out comes everyone you've ever met. Like, you know, that one guy in catering that was nice to Cody that one time. You know,
the
like...
false ghost of Dusty Rhodes.
Because you've... Let's break down the Avengers, moment, because everything that happened in this, when everyone came out, all made sense.
It did. Yeah. Except.
But everything sort of, there was a tie there, but everything sort of made sense. So we had Jimmy come and attempt to kick Cody's head off. Naturally, the person that came out to save was Jay.
And they
ate that fucking spear off that ramp. Like, that was just wood and concrete. There was no, like, fancy cardboard box looking thing. It was just floor.
Just like to throw a fucking super kick in, though, before it, hey?
Yeah.
And then Solo comes out, right?
Dude, small detail, if you may have spotted, Cody, when he instantly got him in that road, he looked to his left, which is where he got spiked at 39.
Yeah.
I had someone point that out to me today, and I went, that fucking rules.
Yeah.
That is cool. I didn't notice
that was very cool.
Oh, shit.
But what I found cool was, after that moment, Solo was angry with Roman. Like,
he was directing traffic.
Like, finish it now.
Finish it. Finish the story.
Yeah.
And watching Roman get frustrated and be like, I'm trying.
Yeah, but he was agreeing. He was like, it was almost like he was apologizing. He was like, I am.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then Cena.
And then, of course, we get Cena come out.
Yeah.
And that makes sense as well, because the last person to beat Cena was Solo.
And the beauty of that is because that match, at least up until this moment, felt fucking useless.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh.
Yeah, right. So we got that cool moment. And I believe he was the only person who interrupted the match to get hands on Roman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he hit the attitude adjustment, and they just left. Because that moment where he was standing at ringside, that was the fucking sickest thing, though. After he put Solo through the table, and then you hear the if you smell, and, like, Cena's just goes, like, fuck. Like, that face.
That threw me. It made me think of that Osprey, where he does the flip and then, like, who's the guy? His name escapes me right now. And then he has that shot where he's, like, in the corner, and then you see at that moment, like, it felt like that. And then, of course, and The Rock just comes down, like, effing and jeffing. He's just like, fuck you fucking fuck. I'm gonna fucking and just the whole ramp.
I have to mention it. He's so fucking big compared to Cena. Like, we thought he was big. Yeah. It's kind of hard to reference that until you see him next to Cena, because they used to be the same size. Huge. Like, he made Cena look like a little baby boy when he came out there. Like,
and that was an amazing moment. I will say, WWE Australia's Instagram account massively cocked up and said, "Is this building to Rock and Cena too?" No,
thrice in a lifetime.
There's already been 2 of those. We did forget one entrance though, and this is the one that I did want to talk about. Was we got the Shield music?
That was next.
Oh, was that? Next?
That was next.
Did you?
That was after The Rock was in the ring.
Now, once again, I was by myself. I had my kid. He had no context.
Yeah.
For a split second.
Before you ask the question, I'm going to say yes because I know what you're going to ask. Go ahead.
Same. It's yes.
Did we all go, fucking Dean, Mox? Like, did we all die for a second?
I genuinely thought, I was like, did they do it?
There's
Have
no
they done
fucking
it?
way.
Like,
There's no fucking chance. And that's why this moment is wrestling. It's a beautiful wrestling moment where you can forget about the realities of world, and you have the moment of, is this Dean fucking Ambrose?
It even got Corey Graves, because Corey Graves was like, "This is not possible. This can't happen.
Yeah.
That's not possible." And then it was Seth. And that was the moment we were talking about earlier with where Roman actually saved The Rock and took him out. And that was what led into The Undertaker. But, like, that, to me, I love that because that showed solidarity, that showed unity. That was exactly what we needed.
Absolutely. And that there was no issues. The bloodline is okay. Oh, the bloodline is fine.
Ish.
Ish.
They're a bit sad now, but they're good.
Well, okay, so here's the thing for me. I know you said before almost everything made sense. WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, they have history. It made sense because of that, to me.
You have, like, I think the difference is you have to take an extra leap. You have to go, oh, hang on. But you get there, and, like, it totally makes sense because the beauty, wrestling is the same as comics, right? Like, there's a story somewhere if you want to connect it.
Yeah,
but, like, with this one, you had that moment of, oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, of course.
It should have been the glass shatters, and we all know it. Yes. That was the moment where it was supposed to be Stone Cold. I would have just
shit myself.
I would have still been shitting myself.
Stone Cold, but he was he was hanging out with Poncho in Texas, apparently.
Poncho. Poncho.
He was hanging out with his cat Poncho.
Yeah, I love Poncho. I love those
apparently
things.
He was ill and couldn't, like, he was a circumstance of, I'm fucking sick, I can't do it.
And that sucks if that was the case. Like, I heard someone say that it was supposed to be this.
Well, because he got his little Easter gift basket of beers and stuff from a random person.
Yeah,
it's But Taker, like, not even in gear, by the way, just in streets.
Just a dude.
But I do like that, right? Because we've taken away the veil of Undertaker being.
Also, he said he will never do it again because of that. He's dropped that veil. He's doing promos. He's doing podcasts. All the things now. Yeah. So that Undertaker is dead. If you want the Undertaker, you're going to get the American Badass, or you're going to get Mark, and that's going to be it from here on out.
And we got podcaster Mark today.
We did get podcaster Mark. We absolutely did.
That little fucking clip of him legging it out the building rules. I giggle at it every time I look at it.
The memes that have come out from that are hilarious.
It's when it's like what, like when breakfast at Macca's closes in 5 minutes.
So this is for any New Zealand followers. The meme I saw of it was when Mum says the boil up's ready.
I don't know if that. I assume that's a good thing.
The Australians are like, I get it. No idea what you're talking about.
I get it.
Culture.
Yay. But one thing
I'm like 9 generations white dude, man. I got nothing.
You are the whitest. Look at you right now on the screen. You are so washed out. It's the best thing ever. For audio listeners, love you to death. If you don't want to go blind, I suggest not watching the YouTube video because you may. One thing I do want to quickly call it back into is the Shield thing, because to me, if you ever thought that Paul Levesque wasn't the fucking most intelligent person in the world, you have to reference this moment. With Roman Reigns has a steel chair and he's looking down at Seth Rollins, who is speared, and he looks to his right and he sees Cody Rhodes, the person he's supposed to be wrestling, because of the history they have had with Seth destroying the Shield, all of the shit they've been through. And then he's his brother. Every promo leading up to this, that's my little brother. You want my little brother? You trust my little brother? all those little tiny knocks all the way through. And then he sees Seth with the Shield gear on, and he's like, you made me this. You did this to me. And he decides to hit him with a chair instead of Cody Rhodes. And it is ultimately the reason that Roman loses the belt. And that is the final penance of Seth Rollins.
Genius.
It's so smart.
What I love about it, right, is because it demonstrates perfectly the character that is the tribal chief. It's insecure, it's trauma, it's littered in the past. It's like that one thing that never escapes him because it's like I have to be the number one. I've got to smash everything, smash and stack him and leave. But he's the one person that I can't seem to get out of my head. The person I've never beaten. I just can't.
And it's also
beautiful.
A payoff for Seth's comment a couple of weeks ago of I know his weakness.
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
Everything's gone.
Also, shout out to commentary as well because
why is everything
they
gone?
made one tiny little comment. They made one tiny comment, which was a payoff for us fans that have been following along, and it was just subtly saying Plan B.
Yeah.
It was just super subtle. Anyone else who has no idea, who hasn't been watching for the last 10 years, would probably go, what does Plan B mean?
Yeah.
Or just miss it completely. But all of us who have been watching and have been following the Shield since forever know that Plan B moment.
And that's the architect at work, because that's what it is. It is Seth being the architect of this whole thing. The downfall of Roman Reigns wasn't Cody saying, I want to fight you at WrestleMania. It was Seth saying, you need a shield and I will do that. Like that was the point where it became the beginning of the end.
And he was too fucked to be able to physically help in that match, right?
Yeah.
But the mental...
See, but this is where, like we talked about this with the Avengers thing, this to me, and I mentioned this on Twitter, this is where we see and we experience Seth Rollins is the fucking Iron Man, right? He sacrificed himself for the greater good at the very end. And this is when, like, looking back on night one, or the beginning of the night, and for me, I look at it as he went and wrapped up his loose ends. He knew he was going to die. So he's like, well, I've got shit to do. I'm going to wrap up all my loose ends. So at the end of the night, when I go and do what I have to do for the greater fucking good, we're in a good position. And it's it's almost like at some point someone did Doctor Strange one option, and he's like, cool, well, I'm gonna get my stuff in check and I'll do what I have to do. And also shout out to him going and dyeing his hair and then coming out, by the way.
Now Seth Rollins definitely Tony Stark.
It was beautiful.
Spoilers for Avengers.
He's Iron Man.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Also major spoilers. Yeah, absolutely. I completely forgot that there may be people that haven't seen that movie.
But yeah, like the whole thing was masterful. Hits the crossroads, hits it again. Everyone is this quiet, just goes over the venue for the 1, 2, 3, and then it just explodes. That third road at like crossroads as he's pulling him up and it's like struggling and like we all know what's coming and that anticipation is right there. And then shout out to Michael Cole in that 1, 2, 3 finish the story and we all completely cry. And
I tell you what, if I want to shout out anybody, I want to shout out Sam Irving.
She's us.
She is one of us, man. Like, and it's undeniable that she is a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Because you could hear it in her voice. And then they released the video. I turned around to my wife after the match because that's the one match she watched. Yeah. And I said, I can't wait for them to release that video because I want to see how emotional she was. And you can see it. Like, she was emotionally invested in this match like we all were.
Oh, yeah, I cried so hard. Like, so hard.
No, it was a moment.
Did anybody else feel like it was a weird ending to WrestleMania, though? Because for me, I'm so accustomed to match ends. You get Michael Cole say some shit, you get the fireworks, and it's all over. Yeah. And I messaged Shippy and I said, "We've got fireworks yet. Is there fuckery to come?"
Yeah, yeah.
My read of it went the other way because I made a snarky comment earlier in the day before with my mates who were watching, and I said like WWE is the most impressive theater production you've ever seen in your entire life, and this felt like the end of a theater run. Like everyone's out on the stage going, "Thank you for coming." Oh, it felt like a season finale. Like it had everything in it that went, "This is it." And like we've ended everything on a high. Like you've all got your moment. Everyone's fucking crying. You know, it's like, cool, well done, thank you everyone. We appreciate them. I'm surprised they didn't do a collective hand bow thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh look, I'm not disappointed.
Oh no, I mean that in like I loved it. You saw the part that no one sees.
Yeah, we got the bit that usually happens after it goes off air, and that's awesome.
I was waiting
me,
so much.
Strange.
I was waiting so much. I was so obsessed with the idea of seeing him that I thought we were going to be a bash at the end of the night. I thought we were going to get the glass shatters in that last segment.
Said to me it was going to be a beer bash.
Yeah. That's how much
I
I
was
wanted to see
hoping Mama Rhodes was going to turn heel, but
I never loved Dusty.
Before we move on, because
that would be destructive. Oh my god.
We do still have Raw to get to.
Oh, shit.
But I did want to say to you guys, like, we saw titles change hands. We saw some amazing stories ending and all that sort of thing. But did you know that currently you can get 50% off your own WWE Championship title?
Oh, I need one of them.
Yeah, well, if you go to www.shop.com using our link in the description, and you can also use the code WWE Champion, you will get 50% off selected title belts.
But Phid, like it's really cool to have a belt, but like if you are any wrestler, you have to come out in matching merch, right? Like shirts, whatever. It's a whole kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shippy, you know this. You've worn your own merch to the ring when you've had a belt.
I wear my own merch right now, but I'm not wearing it this very second. I'm wearing a different thing. But
You're wearing my merch at this moment.
I'm wearing your merch right now. But are you saying WWEshop.com? WWEshop.com is where you go. Use the code WWE Champion. Is that it?
Well, that's if you want 50% of a title. But
I like 50% off things.
Me
but
too.
as Betson was just saying, if you wanted to grab some merch, like there's the Bloodline Rules collection, there's the Rhea Ripley collection, the amazing yearly Kevin Owens
I was gonna say,
Mania shirt.
I was gonna say, what about that like awesome ECW throwback KO shirt? Can I get that one?
You can get that, and if you use WWE Superstar as the code, you would get 20% off some of that merch.
Shit,
that's really good because
look,
those
I
shirts.
do need to. I need to get in the good books with my missus. She's in love with Rhea Ripley right now. So if I use that code, what was the code again?
WWE Superstar.
So if I use the code WWE Superstar at WWEshop.com using the link in the description below, I can get a shirt that will get me in the good books with my partner?
Absolutely.
God damn,
get her
what a deal.
Monday Night Mommy.
Oh,
and then it could be Monday Night Mommy for
Thank
you as well.
WWEshop.com.
Yes, thank you very much to WWEshop.com. But yes, no, that's awesome. I think we should definitely all do that. Everyone should do it. Everyone. Let's move on to Raw. We don't want to shill any more of our wares.
Before we do that, before we jump into Raw, can we just like let's have that discussion of like collectively. Now we've broken it down into its parts. Like as you mentioned, Mania feuds in your like top 5, top 3. Like is this the biggest WrestleMania you have ever experienced? Because I've got things to say, but like, is this the thing you've ever experienced?
I think so. I think it's production-wise, it was amazing. We saw an increase in that. The undeniable data points as well. You know, the most attended WrestleMania, the most money they've made at the gate, the most merchandise ever sold, probably the biggest, highest viewed because they were on new platforms. In New Zealand, it was on Netflix for free.
Yeah.
So I think, arguably, just looking at the data points, the biggest. But I think even with the hype, us as wrestling fans that are a bit jaded at times, this was the most hyped and most unpredictable. We came into this excited. It's the first time I've been excited for a WrestleMania in a long time. So I would say, it's the biggest.
I think as advertised on the box, honestly, like everything that we've been doing over the past year since Triple H has taken over has really led us to this point. I think that if it's not the biggest WrestleMania ever, it is the launching point for the biggest generation, the biggest era of wrestling moving forward. I think that what we will do in the next 10 years will surpass the Attitude Era, the Golden Era. I think that we're moving to a place now where we can touch literally every home in the world and we can make wrestling something that everybody wants to get around again. It is such a new growing industry for something that's been around for forever. But right now it feels like it's just growing. It's becoming more than it's ever been before. So I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. I do think that it's probably the show that will conserve as the catalyst for the future.
Well, this is the first, like I said last week, this is the first time I've had, since the 90s, since the WCW versus WWF era, first time I've had friends that never gave a shit about wrestling interested in wrestling.
Yeah. Like, to coincide with that, like, compared to YouTube, lovely gents, my exposure to wrestling is a lot less. We've discussed this before. Like, we're talking 5 years, 6 years since I've watched wrestling. Even though I've enjoyed the build to Manias previously, at least for me, this year or whatever it is heading into this show feels so unmeasurably different. And whether it be like it just within myself, within the experience, within the culture, the conversation, everything is just somewhere else. And like for me, whether it be, having that extra involvement as, kindly being asked to come work with you guys here on the show, substitute Betson, or being cameraman when we got to go fuck around in Elimination Chamber. Like, we got to see a pay-per-view. So, we lost Phid for a second. You're Phid. We lost Warship for a minute.
We'll keep going.
But yeah, so like going to experience of that, like sharing it with a partner that's like actively engaged in it. Like I said, and as you mentioned, Phid, I got to watch it with my son. So I was meant to watch it with all my friends. They couldn't get the annual leave off, so I was going to watch it myself. But I got this lovely video call from my son being like, "Mummy said that you were by yourself today. Can I come watch it with you?"
Oh, I didn't realize that part of the story. That was so freaking wholesome.
So that makes it even better. Yeah. So then when he came over and like that video I shared, that's him actively being excited in something that he knows I love and adore because he wanted to be there for me and be there with me.
That's cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I will say this. Like, I did sort of take a piss about my son being more interested in the car. He actually called me last night because he went back and watched the YouTube videos. And my son was why I got back into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Which was 2009, I think, roughly.
Yeah.
And so, because he was starting to get into it. He went back and watched YouTube videos and then rang me up and was like, wanted to talk to me about everything that he saw, what he found exciting. And I was like, oh, my son's showing interest in something because I'm interested in it.
Exactly.
And,
like,
and he's 21.
Yeah. And then on top of that as well, with the main through story within especially this run with Cody being all about his dad and and him and that father-son dynamic, it added another layer of emotional intensity for me because any father-son stories always resonate differently with me. But like, yeah, whether it be going to a show, which is fantastic, by the way, as we look at the next 8 shows that we know about, 6 of them are international. Like, the connection, the moment, the feel of like just complete adoration that I'm experiencing is now what everyone will get to experience as it goes to these countries around the world, and you realize that you're seeing a show that means something, that's part of it. And then on top of that, as we touched upon it before, now we're in a position where the WWE are actively choosing to no longer be on their own island as sports entertainment. They are professional wrestling, and they are willing to acknowledge that pun intended, outside of WWE is important and it is relevant and it should be rewarded. So like it's just showing that, and like if WWE were the biggest company on their own island, by making these conscious decisions, they are the biggest company in that industry. So there is what previously were the difference was, if you like AEW, cool, you like wrestling. If you watch WWE, you like sports entertainment. You're about to get fucked because WWE, you're about to love wrestling, you're about to love WWE as well. And to add to that as well, one of the other things that has really added to this love and appreciation that I've had for wrestling has been the release of WWE 2K24. Because like, you know, through 2023, I began my weekly GM dive with my partner and my mates, and like that just fueled my love. And then being able to go and fuck with 24 at Elimination Chamber, get me part of that hype, and then everything about it. Like it's still part. Like I play it every day now because this seems like a shameless ad, and it kind of is, but it isn't. It's an ad that says "Go play 2K, you idiot," because like every day I'm in there playing my factions, getting my dailies, getting my cards, doing whatever it is, and I think that alone has staggeringly added to my love of wrestling.
Look, I'm going to absolutely allow you to put over 2K because this time next year I want to be in that group of content creators that get sent to WrestleMania.
Look, I'll write some coattails.
2K.
I will chop Phid again. But you know,
I will take that chop correctly.
Well, yeah, you will. We will post for it. Well, you know what? Because I know why it's all bad. But how about next time you come around, I'll train you a little bit, and then if I chop you, it's okay. All right, that'll be fine. But I have to say that when it comes to wrestling games, and 2K24 is the one that I've played for the first time since probably. Shut your mouth. Maybe Here Comes the Pain. Maybe 2K22-ish was the last one and that was a cursory look. Yep. But I have like 3 versions, 3 different eras of Warship uploaded now to the community creations. My original gear, my Mayhem gear, and my solution/post-solution wrestling gear. I'm loving the creating a character stuff. For me, that community creations has always been my thing in games, and being able to upload my face model, being able to upload all my logos on my gear, all that stuff, it's really rekindled that love for wrestling games in general. So, and alongside that, my girls play. So now this year for WrestleMania, they were hyped as shit for it because they've been playing. They've been playing as these characters, and they've been getting into it. So it was a really good time.
I'm in the same boat. So, like, you know, Phid, you and I, like, we're part of TCW, our mate and Mad Dogs.
Me too.
Twitch. Oh, you're in the Shippy's in there too.
He's in there this year.
Excellent. So, like, you know, we remade ourselves this year because, you know, myself and my friend Craig, you know, we TCW Hall of Famers, just saying. But, you know, we also made my partner, so she exists. So Queen Phoebe's involved. And then because my son had a look, he's like, why does Phoebe get to be a queen? Can I be a character? So he's Prince James.
Oh,
he's the Prince of Popsy.
This is the most amount of time I've ever spent creating a character was this year's one. I finally figured out how to. Well, every other year I've known you've been able to upload your own artwork, but this time I was like, I'm actually going to invest the time.
I put so much more love into this game.
Entire weekend uploading every single tattoo that I have on my arms to make sure that I had Phid accurate tattoos this year.
I've been editing you a little bit on the sly on my game.
Oh, have you?
Just the dong slider, huge.
Yeah.
Did you make me more accurately slim?
No, because that wouldn't be nice. So I'm just like, because I'm running us as a tag team on our side, so I'm making sure that we look like a tag team.
Yeah, like
I think the first thing you said to me is that I needed to get gear and not be in gym.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. What were you saying there, Betsy?
But no, it's all these little things. I would say, 2K24 Betson, jacked. looks incredible. The best out of that. But
just like the real one.
It's all these little things. Yeah, all these little things that add to this wrestling experience. And we talked about it earlier. Like Twitter right now is fun as hell. Where the internet wrestling community is normally dog shit. Where like now it's great. I love it, and I hope we can continue into this new era, this new season of WWE as we transition into Raw. Like it's just love it.
Yeah.
What a time!
No.
All right, Phid stretch for time. Let's talk Raw.
Are we going to talk Raw? I've only got a couple of notes here. We can leave Raw, but let's just go over a few things.
Let's talk Raw.
Okay, let's talk Raw. So Cody comes out. It's the whole thing. What do you want to talk about? Blah, 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 blah. The Rock comes out straight away, and it's the weirdest segment ever. It's this weird, awkward conversation of them just talking about nothing at all. And it ends with The Rock holding something in his hands and saying, you take this, hold your hand out, don't ever break my heart again. You know what this is without opening your hand. I'll see you soon.
I know exactly what it was.
We have various theories.
Yes. What was it, Phid?
Tickets to Black Adam.
It's the sequel that no one asked for. He's like, I'm going to the sequel.
No.
He's like, I need you to be in that movie. Can you play a character?
Yeah.
My theory,
rating.
My theory, and is that he cupcake. He goes, you want to smell what the Rock's cooking? Farted it into his hand, gave it to Cody, and it's like, so what's going to happen? Cody's going to go, what? Open. Ultimate, the heel move. That's the answer. Or the other one was
childish answer.
or it's Mama Rhodes' mum. He's like, I'm your dad now, boy.
Mama Rhodes' phone number, just or maybe the key to Mama Rhodes' hotel room.
Oh, that's even better.
Although
it's a USB flash drive of just inappropriate photos of him and Mama Rose out in a lovely vacation in Philly.
Oh, slapping Mama Rhodes, slapping her ass with that belt, getting her tears on it. Oh, it's so inappropriate. I've killed him. He's killed him. He's dead.
Oh my god! Because I have a very visual. So I just had these lovely mum and dad shots around Philly, and then hard cut to her just getting
just getting railed from behind whilst the belt is round her neck and she's crying on it. That was where it went.
Jesus.
Okay.
God, well, it's not the PG era anymore, Phid. This can happen.
The PG era of Down Under the Ring is over.
Is dead. So there are two prevailing theories. The first one's ridiculous, and that is MJF's Diamond Dynamite ring.
Oh, that's good too.
I mean, the whole idea is you'd know how that feels, so you know what it was. Yeah. And the reason that's interesting is because Cody gave it to him originally, right? And it's like a thought of you want to go back to the Mud Show, I can take you back there anytime I want because I'm your fucking boss. The other one, though, is that it is actually a key. It is a key. And it's The Rock saying, the key to the kingdom, this is yours now. Look after this. Don't break my heart and fuck this up.
Actually, I like that because in the redo of the Kingdom song, like Cody's song, they've added that line of sit on the throne and rule my kingdom. Like they've added it to kind of essentially he's in that position now. Like that. Yeah. That could work.
So it could be nothing. It could be a fart in a hand for real. Like it could be.
It could be the key to Shane McMahon's lockbox.
Maybe it could be the key to TNA's front door. So now that they own it and they can do that whole I now own WCW thing all over again with Stephanie and TNA. This is all garbage.
What if he just gave him the ownership of XFL? He's like, I don't want it anymore.
There you go. You can have that now. I don't want that shit. Maybe he gave him the rights to Black Adam because he really doesn't want that either. So we don't know what it was. That's fine. What about other things we don't know what it was? Like Uncle Howdy. There was a teaser that it's been widely speculated all over the internet is a glitchy bit during Bronson Reed. Also, I would just say Bronson Reed becoming Andre the Giant. Yeah. Let's go. Very, very cool. Good to see him in the main event tonight as well. But during a vignette, there was a bit of a glitchy deal. People are kind of feeling like that might be the thing. That is the slow follow the white rabbit vibe of Bray Wyatt's final kind of comeback. I did hear an interesting thought about this as well, because Matt Hardy is now a free agent.
Oh yeah.
And Bo Dallas and Matt Hardy could be the leader of Worlds version 2.0 as a way to bring him up. I don't know if I like that either. But it could be a good way to introduce Taylor Rotunda to the world again. I think he needs to do it on his own personally, but we did hear that as speculation going around today. Do you think this is Uncle Howdy?
Absolutely, I think it's Uncle Howdy. Like I said to you over the weekend, I sent you a message and said Taylor is looking so much more like Bray now that he's buffed up. Like, he is looking big. Yeah. And all the stuff that he was doing at the World and all that sort of thing, he's looking like he's looking more like Bray.
And also, can we just ignore, because we haven't touched upon the Hall of Fame yet, like, shout out to US Express, right? Like, their little acknowledgement to Bray, a bit teary.
It was always going to happen.
It was going to happen, and I think that's why I knew it was going to happen. I would get ready to fucking cry. But yeah,
I still haven't watched the documentary yet.
Oh no, I'm not ready. I am absolutely not ready.
I've got a copy of it sitting on my computer, and I'm like, I can't.
I need to segment some time where I don't have to do anything. I'm on holidays right now, so it might be the perfect time to do it. To actually get through it and not bawl like a baby.
I need to make sure no one's around, because I feel it's going to be one of those really, like, deep cries that sits kind of in here. Like, you get that ugly face that you just can't control, and like, you're a blubbering mess, like, you're incoherent. So I want no one to see that.
I've actually planned my viewing out. Next weekend, my wife's going away for a few days.
Preserve your masculinity. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm going to be at home by myself. And I'm just going to sit at home and just have a cry on the couch.
Awesome.
It's
love it.
There's a lot of conversation going around about Taylor Rotunda, Bo Dallas being not worthy of the legacy moving forward. There's a lot of discussion about that because of the B team and all of those things that we've seen go through. But you have to remember is Bo Dallas was the third ever NXT champion, held it for almost a year. Absolutely a mega talented wrestler. Just never given a chance.
I was going to say, the only reason we didn't get to see him as an A-lister on the main roster is because he was just never given a shot.
Yeah.
And once put into a done gimmick and just had to use that gimmick because that was what was on TV. Look, that management regime is long gone now. So, let them cook. I feel like they'll do it right.
I do wonder whether Alexa will become involved again as well. Because as much I love her, I adore Alexa. I think she's a great wrestler. She's fun, and I enjoyed her stuff with Bray.
Alexa must be just about due to come back too.
Well, yeah, I think she's well recovered, as recovered as you can be from having a child. Yeah, it'd be cool to sort of have her come back. I was listening to a show today, and they were discussing apparently one of the things they're trying to determine is like who will inherit the Sister Abigail. Yeah, whether would it be her or Bo. And I was thinking about it just then, because Alexa's 5'0", like it's not a very
it's not going to work.
Not a lot of move, not a lot of area to deliver really good Abigails.
And do you know what? This is me dream booking here. I think you bring in Taylor, you bring in Alexa, you bring in Redbeard.
Ooh,
and
Braun's not doing a whole lot.
Well, I was going to say, and Braun Strowman, and
he's due for a return as well.
Mashup of we do some sort of mashup of what was probably planned for Bray, but also the old school Wyatt family sort of situation as well.
So you could also have, Bray or, The Fiend as this ominous force, I guess, that's like never present but around.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, You could still run the Wyatt 6. You could just substitute Karrion Kross for Matt Hardy because there's a tie there. If you took everybody who has had some form of connection to Bray Wyatt on screen who's alive and bring them all into a major faction, it could work. I don't know if it needs to be this massive thing, though. I don't know if that will do service to the legacy. I think seeing the Fireflies one more time out there with a full Wyatt family look would be really cool, but I don't think it would be a full-time deal.
No, look, and I don't think it's going to be a long-term story either, right? Eventually, I think you need to let Taylor go off on and do his own thing too, and let Taylor be Taylor and not Bray 2.0 or a tribute to Taylor. Like, I think that's unfair on him.
Yeah. Give Alexa the mandible claw.
Yes. Yeah. And let her just fucking jump on someone and like, because she's like the little spider monkey, just like fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the idea. I really quickly wanted to go over the main event of Raw today because it was crazy. Highlight for me was seeing something I don't think I've ever seen in my life before, which was a jump through from the ring to the announce table. Fairly cursory. It's happened a lot. But it was a springboard 450 from Ricochet. And that's such a crazy, dangerous bullshit thing. Like, the entire thing, it blew my mind. I wrote the note in there because I had to. But that whole match, it was really well structured. Again, it was a lot of big meaty men slapping meat, but then you also had Ricochet in there. But he moves really, like a puma. Oh, he's a puma. We had Prince Puma almost in there.
Almost, the whole thing that spot almost made me Puma pants. That was Puma pants. It was
awesome. God damn it. But yeah, like it was good. It was good to see Big Bronny get some stuff on there as well for a little bit there. It looked like he might have even won, which was cool.
And also, if you want a kind of like cool spot as well, like where Gable just fucking yeeted himself like over the, like not even like as a dive, just fucking threw himself at Imperium. That was awesome.
Oh, in the Imperium section as well. Yeah, that was sweet. That was good. That's probably good to mention as well. Like the Sami Zayn and Chad Gable now have a match next week in Ontario, which will be interesting. I think we might see a heel turn. I'm not sure who's going to do it yet, though, because the obvious answer is Chad Gable, but I don't know yet. So we'll wait and see how that goes. I like the main event, though. I especially like the fact that CM Punk must have been under the fucking ring for at least that last segment in its entirety, because there's no way you could have put CM Punk under the ring without everyone seeing.
No.
So he must have been there for a while. And once again,
I do. If you want to talk about like SmackDown last week, where like A-Town Down Under fucked off to another arena, and then suddenly they're under the ring, and they're like, "Is there a tunnel or something? Like, how the fuck did they do
that?" Yeah. And it just continues our Drew McIntyre mess, because once again, Punk's the reason that Drew loses another match. And we have main event Jey Uso finally living up to the name and having a main event match for the WWE Championship against Damian Priest. How do you think that will go?
Damian retains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be relatively dominant too.
Yeah.
Like, need to establish him as he's a champion for a reason.
I mean,
it's not just a cash in and quick hold and hot potato over to someone else.
I saw a meme today that said, how the fuck can a guy have the worst match on Mania and have a title shot the next week? But it hurt. That's kind of true, but it still hurt. But yeah, I don't really have any other notes as far as Raw goes. Do you guys have anything in particular that you want to talk about?
No, that's it. I'd love that CM Punk angle. I will say this. It was nice to see a Raw after Mania where the crowd was on fire.
20,000 people or something crazy.
Yeah, but the weird chants and all that sort of thing were back. It still didn't feel as Bizarro World as Raw after Mania has historically been, but it was good to have an amazing episode of Raw.
It was good to have like NXT present itself with Ilya Dragunov coming in. And
that
just
was
kicking
cool.
the living fuck out of Shinsuke, and same goes for Roxanne coming up. And
Roxanne is a fucking star.
Just eating Indy. Like, the best thing about it is they had these squash matches, essentially, because you knew that was going to go down. But, like, oh, yeah, of course. So there was, like, with Indy getting the bus kicked out of her actually works within the story of her and Candice turning. So I love that as well. It wasn't just, let's just get someone out there to get eaten. Shinsuke did up a good fight, but, you know, as a former NXT champion, it looks fucking dope to have Ilya kick his shit in, and then Jade just murders Chelsea Green. So, but Chelsea, that's her role now. Her role is never to be champion. She's there to make people look awesome.
This is the thing I was actually thinking about after the Chelsea match was WWE's doing this really good job now of where jobbers don't feel like jobbers anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she feels like she's a star still.
Yeah, because they found a way to package people that, like, I think this is in general, like, characters feel like characters. Like, feels like there is character flaw, there's consequence, and, like, even though she's going out and getting the shit kicked in, like, it fits within the characteristics, the confines of the character that they have now established, or the character, same as Drew. Drew's a perfect example of this. They've established this is the framework of them, and as long as they stick within this framework, it will feel real because it works.
I just, I don't think it hurts anyone to job in the current era of wrestling, which is good because for a long time it felt like, it felt like when you were jobbing before that it was like career ending, but now it just feels like it's sort of everyone fits into the story really, really well. But as we all know, the story continues because it's not over, even though it is. I do want to take a second before we wrap up here to just say thank you to Roman Reigns as well, because throughout all that we've watched over the past 4 years, through the pandemic, through all of it, he might have only wrestled a handful of times during the whole thing, but like the company wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be where it is right now. It wouldn't have gone through all of the changes it's gone through without the work of Roman Reigns. And seeing him and Paul Heyman hug each other while they're both obviously bawling their fucking eyes out on the stage at WrestleMania XL was a really special moment as well. So a big thank you to Roman Reigns.
Sorry.
Well, I was also going to add to that, is not just thanks to Roman, but thanks to Paul Heyman too.
Yes.
This entire angle doesn't happen without Paul, and it's evident. This is just evidence of this man's genius. I mean, anyone who's been a wrestling fan since the 90s already well knows of Paul Heyman's genius, but this felt like his masterpiece, where he was given free reign to create, and it's felt like his masterpiece, and I'm looking forward to whatever he touches next.
And look, who else in the history of wrestling could say, suck my fucking dick at the Hall of Fame?
Every incredible story of a hero's journey is only ever as good as the villain that they put them up against.
Absolutely.
And we would not have had the emotion or the impact, or we would not have had a room full of crying, grown adults had it not been for Roman Reigns going so hard and creating a villain that is, you know, just shaped and with nuance. And there were moments where like, oh man, we kind of fucking sick of it because we're living in that moment. And when you see, you know, you pull back out and you look at it all, you go, there was no one else that could have done this. Absolutely no one.
No, absolutely not.
And it will be one of the best stories, one of the best character things, like just in wrestling history moving forward.
There are going to be fans in 20 years' time that are sitting in front of whatever.
Hopefully it's my son.
Yeah, doing what we're doing, and they're going to be talking about this moment.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of talking of this moment, we've been doing lots of that today, so I think maybe this moment might be over.
How long is this bad boy? Like 2 hours?
It's a long one.
I think it's going to be a pretty long one there, guys. Thank you for everyone who's stuck around and listened to all of all of our rants here. It's going to be business as usual from here. As of next week, we'll be back to our normal formula. WrestleMania season is WrestleMania season, but maybe we'll get substitute bests on again very soon in the future.
Just like The Rock, I walk out and I go, I'm going to have to go away for a while, and then I fart in both your hands and I get out of here.
Yep. All right. Well, on that note, thank you very much for being here once again. Thank you, Phid, as well as always. And thank you to everybody for what was an amazing WrestleMania weekend. We'll see you soon. There's not a lot of room under the ring because people keep interfering, but we'll see you there next time.
There's a lot of fucking people under that ring.
So many people under there. There's so many people under there. Wait, was that? I'm hearing there's no room under there. Apparently there's no room under the ring. We'll see you there, though, down under the ring.